Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel of Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, friend. I really do hope that. Welcome to the actual studio slash office, not the Stamford Bridge studio, and for 5 reasons why, English, easy to speak, 5 reasons why series, bringing it back, trying it out for the big game, the London derby, 5 reasons why Chelsea will beat Arsenal at home in the Premier League this weekend. Yes, you think it's difficult times for Chelsea, and Arsenal are supposedly flying high, soaring at the top of the Premier League. But I think there's a fraudulent air about Arsenal, a little bit, even though they do deserve kudos for a lot of elements. And I'm going to give you, in today's video, 5 reasons why Chelsea will beat Arsenal this weekend, in theory. Terms and conditions apply. Guys, thanks for joining me. Please do drop a like on the video. Helps me out. It's very nice. It's a nice thing to do. So thanks for doing that. You're welcome to subscribe. And should you choose to do so, I recommend you should hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Ooh, nice tones there. Now, no fancy edits today. I want to get straight into it. Number 1 out of 5, the 5 reasons why we're going to beat the Gooners. First off, it's narrative based, and we've all learned one thing in football from this YouTube channel. 2 things win football matches. First one is midfield. The second is narrative. And you know what this game has got potently flavouring the narrative? That's right, Pierre Emerick Aubameyang. And yes, we've all seen the BT Sport clip of him saying, look, it's nothing personal, and I'm back and I'm blue. He's already said when he signed for Chelsea that unfinished business, etc. We know how he was portrayed in the All or Nothing documentary on Amazon with Arsenal. He was made to look the bad guy. Mikel Arteta was the good guy. When Thomas Tuchel, even before he signed Aubameyang, always said now he's like a model professional. Now, I'm not suggesting that he's never been problematic, but Al Gaffer at the time, Tuchel said, no, he's no problem. Graham Potter's like, no, he's no problem. And maybe he was at Arsenal, who's to say, but Aubameyang, this is going to be like one of the games of the remainder of his career in terms of motivation, how much he's going to want to score against Arsenal, mate, against Mikel Arteta. And he's going to be at home and he's going to have the fans behind him. He started well, Aubameyang, and he's tailed off a little bit in terms of his finishing, but the last game out in midweek in the Champions League, he got an assist. He assisted the Raheem Sterling goal with a back heel, and he forced a really good save onto the bar, a rifled shot that made him look sharp as knives. So I don't think he's necessarily out of form, and of course he's still looking to assist his teammates, etc. So it's absolutely worthy of a reason because, you know, Gabriel Jesus hasn't scored in a few games, though he's got a couple of assists recently, and, you know, so he's playing well, but in terms of motivation and, like, you know, for a guy in his 30s, he's probably past the peak of his career, but for him, like, he will be, like, meditating on this opportunity to to stick one up Arsenal. So that is number 1. Number 2, the second reason why Chelsea will beat Arsenal in a Stamford Bridge. I've put Potter learning from recent games. Now listen, hear me out, this is important. And this is like me hoping that he's learned from recent games. Chelsea, even this predates Potter with like Southampton and stuff, and, you know, Leeds as well. Teams that jump on us really quickly, come out fast, high octane, causes us issues. And this, even, you know, perfect example of Graham Potter's Chelsea against his former club Brighton. Excuse me, hay fever. Now that would have really hurt Graham Potter, of course, for the obvious narrative reasons, and he would have learned about, you know, Arsenal will be watching that, right? We know you can get this Chelsea team. You come out, press them really high, and then they get flustered and they can't deal with it, etc. I think he's going to go back to possibly a back 4 because he's, you know, missing players. He's missing Chilwell. Granted, Chilwell plays more of a wing back. Of course, he's missing Fofana. I think, personally, he should go with this back 4. And this is, if he's learned from the mistakes and we need to defend properly throughout these earlier stages where we've looked really vulnerable, Cucurella at left back, which should suit him better, certainly more than a left centre back. A centre back partnership of Kalidou Koulibaly on the left and Thiago Silva on the right, and at right back, no, not Cesar Azpilicueta. I want to play Trevor Chalobah, who can play, he's playing right centre-back. So you move him a little bit wider. He often inverts and goes into midfield anyway. I think this would be a really defensively resolute option. Your back four, you don't concede goals. You let the midfielders and forwards go and do things, but you keep it tight. And this is a great opportunity to do that. I genuinely, if he can play right centre-back, he can play right back. Just like Cucurella plays left centre-back, left back. You play the really intelligent Koulibaly and Thiago Silva at midfield, and then you can play more, whether you want to play Zakaria, Jorginho and stuff. But I feel like you play a back four system. Now, I'm not doing a predicted lineup here, though. Feel free to comment down below who you'd start in this game. But for me, I just wanted to put for point 2, Potter learning, not going for Raheem Sterling and Christian Pulisic as wingbacks. And yes, I saw the press conference where Graham Potter really made the point to say, look, he's not playing wingback. I know there's a lot of stuff about Sterling playing wingback in the media. Coming from someone who's played wingback, said Graham Potter, he's not playing wingback. He's certainly not in a back five. He's occupying the relatively same stuff as a winger. But still, he's probably not as far up as he would be should he actually be starting as a sort of conventional winger or forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like if Potter's learned, if he tries to shore it up and stay tighter so we don't get slapped early doors in the game and jumped on, then yeah, I feel like that's definitely a second reason why we could beat Arsenal. Now, the third reason I want to move on to now, of why we will beat Arsenal is, I'm still not convinced by Arsenal. Yes, they're top of the league, and yes, they deserve kudos for being a cohesive team, but their squad, their first 11 is very, very good. Granted, it was, Reece Nelson coming on for Saka scored a couple of goals. That's a nice story for him. But generally, apart from left back, because they've got Tierney and, what's his name? Zinchenko from City, who I think's injured still, they don't have the squad depth. And I know they've rotated midweek, but eventually these guys have got to get tired, and it just doesn't seem conducive. It doesn't seem tenable for them to carry on like this. And granted, Liverpool are doing poorly, but you look at City and you're like, yeah, they will. I'm convinced they will just keep winning, and that's why City will almost certainly win the league. Arsenal will drop off, but how far will Arsenal drop off? I'm not so sure. But for me, I'm still not fully convinced by them, man. And what team's going to come back after the World Cup? I don't know, man. I think they're gettable. I've seen them in moments. If you weather this early storm at Stamford Bridge, I think we could do something here. Now, I'm really keen to get everyone's thoughts, because I was listening to some punditry this morning on the radio, people saying, that they're not convinced of Arsenal, and a lot of people reacted like that was sensational, but not at all. I'm absolutely not convinced by them. They don't have elite gunmen. Yes, Jesus is a really good forward and helps the team, but he won't get them 20 Premier League goals this season. He has gone off the boil. And, Bukayo Saka's a good player, but what's he got? How many Premier League goals has he got? Like a couple this season or something? Do you know what I mean? I don't let Xhaka and Thomas Partey do long shots. And I think we'll have Edouard Mendy in goal as well, because I think Kepa's still injured, and that was one of Kepa's few shot-stopping weaknesses, is he was conceding long shots, but Mendy didn't concede long shots, certainly in his pomp. I don't know, I feel, I'm yet to be convinced by Arsenal, and that's why I've put them in number 3, because I didn't want to be like, oh, they're this superpower, because I don't think they are, mate. So let's move on to number 4, right, which is kind of related, but I wanted to say, despite Arsenal not always been, necessarily convincing, even in the Wenger days, they were our bogey team. Now, bogey teams can't be bogey teams forever. Do you remember Antonio Conte struggled to beat them? Lampard did as well. Apart from obviously the Maurizio Sarri in the final, I think we might have lost to him in the league, but the Europa League final we beat them. They have been our bogey team, even when we're favourites against them, we can't beat them. Now, I think this will change, because now they are favourites. I reckon the psychology's changed, because before it was always Chelsea winning leagues, or, Europa Leagues and, Premier Leagues, and then Arsenal would come and upset the apple cart, and it was kind of suited them, that narrative. But now, we're the chasing team, and the pressure's on them a little bit more, and I feel like that might shift the balance finally for them being a bogey team. I don't know, I just feel like now's the moment when the pressure's off. We've got a new coach, we're in transition, they're, ahead of us. I just feel like sod's law, now is the time for Chelsea to beat Arsenal. I feel it in my bones, hence me wanting to make this video, man. So the odds would finally suggest that the bogey teams especially when you're both good teams, one day shan't be a bogey team. Hot dog, that's going to be this weekend against against the odds. Which moves me on to my final and fifth point. Is, of course, we are at home, and Potter has not lost at Stamford Bridge. Of course, he's only lost one game, and that was away to Brighton, and that was, again, because it was riddled in narrative. You know, like I said, with Aubameyang hopefully bagging against Arsenal. Now, yes, we all know, we've watched with our eyes, Chelsea haven't been flawless, and we've been getting good results in not necessarily excellent performances, but we've had that, major blip. We came back in the midweek, won a game sort of convincingly, with a bit rotated. I think that was a deliberate thing from Potter. He wants to get some momentum. He didn't just want to chuck a load of kids on before a massive London derby at the weekend. He wanted to get a win, made sure, put some senior players on there, keep some people warm, and of course that came at a great cost when it comes to Ben Chilwell. But otherwise, I kind of understand why the manager did that. But yeah, so he's undefeated at Stamford Bridge still. I believe, personally, the Chelsea home support will be good, despite it being earlier. I'm hoping it would be good, especially considering it's Arsenal when they're top of the league, and we have an opportunity to cause them grief. And with that, with players that will be really, really up for, I'm talking about your Mason Mounts and, of course, your Aubameyangs and stuff like that. And with Thiago Silva coming back in, probably analysing the couple of mistakes he made at Brighton, he's a really experienced player. He will be super, super concentrated in this game and looking to lead. And should the previous, this home advantage, on top of the previous stuff I've said, I really think altogether gives Chelsea a really good chance of beating Arsenal this weekend at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League. And I'm going to put a prediction on. I'm going to go real bold here, because why not? It's the entertainment business, baby. 3-1 to Chelsea. And the goal Mendy could have done better on. I don't want to dig him out early. I hope he plays really well, but I'm a little bit worried about him, to be honest. I'm going to say 3-1. So we score goals, it'll be a massive win, and it will be a headline. First on Match of the Day. Of course, I could have egg on my face, but, that's what YouTubers often do. They make a prediction, they get it wrong. But I choose to believe in the reasons that I've stated in this video. They're strong enough. We've got a good manager. And you might think, but they're top of the league. Chelsea have a better manager than Arsenal. They've trusted the process that's playing dividends, but I think Chelsea have a better manager than Arsenal. Graham Potter's better than Mikel Arteta. He's got more worldly experience over Europe. He's been coaching for much, much longer. Granted, he hasn't won a title. Of course, he's won an FA Cup. He's won stuff for Ostersons, of course. But, in terms of English football experience and stuff, and dealing with setbacks and dealing with players, I think he'll deal with Aubameyang a lot better than Mikel Arteta did. Chelsea have a better manager than Arsenal. Should he, apply and have enough time and reflect appropriately, I think we win this game. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Let me know how you'd set the team up, if you agree with my points, your score predictions as well. But, let's bounce back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So I look forward to reading your thoughts, feelings, and opinions down below. Thank you for dropping a like and subscribing, commenting, all that fun, interactive stuff, mate. Yeah, man. Love you lots. See you soon. Peace.